Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, September 20th, around 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2022. We're following two major tropical storms, one bringing heavy rain to the Four Corners region, Madeline here in the Pacific, and Fiona that we've been tracking quite closely. And that's the big story. Hurricane Fiona left 1 million without running water in the Dominican Republic and much of Puerto Rico without power. Now it's slamming the Turks and Caicos. Keep calm. It's boom time. After the Caribbean, Bermuda and Canada is next in line for Hurricane Fiona's wrath. Now, Fiona, currently a Cat 3 storm with maximum sustained winds at 115 miles per hour, is said to strengthen to a Cat 4 in the coming days as it comes perilously close to Bermuda, and rough surf will be felt up and down the East Coast. We do have the models that we'll get to in just a moment. So just because it's not going to hit the mainland U.S., that doesn't mean it's going to be dangerous. So there will be dangerous surf up and down the eastern seaboard. So look out for the next week as Puerto Rico sees over 1 million, 1.16 million customers still without power. And this is days after landfall from Fiona. Now, here's Fiona's current position, like I said, at 115 with sustained winds, Cat 3. We also have Gaston out here and a new disturbance, disturbance number 1, which is modeling very high to become the next hurricane. And this is going to move right up through, what did I click? Right up through and south of Puerto Rico and the Dominican, and maybe hook up and hit Florida. So let's take a look at some of those spaghetti models. Here are the current spaghetti models for Fiona, and luckily, over the last 2 days, the models are shifting further and further west of Bermuda. But even if this is a Cat 4 storm, that's going to be a very wide storm, so Bermuda will still get hammered from this later this week. Now, here is that developing tropical system in question, and the spaghetti models you can see here, they're all in consensus, pretty much taking it right up here into Cuba. So we'll keep a close eye on this as it develops, and we will have a better idea where it will hit the U.S. mainland, specifically Florida, we think, in the coming days. So that is something to prepare for as we keep a close eye right here on Fiona. And then here comes that other tropical system we talked about right up there through Cuba and making landfall in the Panhandle. And then it literally, in these early models, goes right up the East Coast and floods the entire East Coast all the way from Florida to Maine. That would be the worst case scenario because we would be seeing the most catastrophic effects from tropical storms are not the winds and landfall. It's the catastrophic rain that falls in the days as it slowly passes over areas, in this case, like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then the entire Northeast. So this could be a very bad thing developing, and stay tuned for more updates. State Road 108 in Sonora Pass, California is closed due to ice and snow. This is at 9,624 feet, and it is closed as winter begins before summer ends. Heavy rain persists in Puerto Rico and expected to develop in the Four Corners region. Now, this is the National Weather Service, NOAA, weather.gov. And what they're about to say here is the dumbest thing I've ever seen anyone that is a weather forecaster say. It says lingering heavy rain and flooding will continue in Puerto Rico. We know that, even though Fiona has moved to the Turks and Caicos. Meanwhile, an anomalous stream of tropical moisture. It's not anomalous at all. It's specifically coming from a tropical disturbance off the Pacific coast. And so I don't know what they're saying there. So an anomalous stream of tropical moisture ahead of a slow-moving system along California coastline will bring heavy rain and flash flooding threats to the Four Corners, like we've been warning for 5 days. Now, here you can see Madeline offshore here, 35-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and you can clearly see where the moisture in the Four Corners region is coming from. It's not anomalous. It's coming from this storm. It's directly connected to Madeline, and it should be lasting for a few days, which is good news for parched Southwest U.S., but bad news for people that are in the way of burn scars and other low-lying areas where flash flooding will occur in great numbers. Anyone that's in canyons out here in Utah, in the Canyonlands, they may suffer and die. They may get stuck like Chuck. Wow, this Zoom Earth is an amazing resource. As we can see here, Fiona now 115 mile per hour in the exact position off the Turks and Caicos here. It's bringing heavy rain, I'm sure, and winds. And it's going to be moving right up here towards Bermuda, where there is a tropical storm watch. And the forecast is for winds to be 130 miles per hour Friday at midnight, 140 Thursday at noon, 140. Holy macaroni. That is going to be one strong storm. So all the links to everything we show you will be below. Now, people are shocked by the hurricane in Bulgaria. I'm sure you haven't heard of it, but it happened the other day, and the doomsday hit Pomorie is the name of a town. One of our viewers sent this in. Pretty impressive stuff here. Just trees getting shredded. She almost got decapitated. Holy macaroni. So this is what's happening in Bulgaria. Give him a thumbs up there. Subscribe to the Forces of Nature channel there. As we move on to more international weather, Monte Rosa, Italy logs its earliest sub -20C ever. And the UK sees rare September snow. Brisbane's coldest winter on record. And polar cold. Not done with Australia just yet. Plus, rapidly growing sunspots. Thank you, Cap Alon, over at Electroverse. We love the work you do. Now, according to Cap, a pair of low-temperature records were recently busted at Campagna Margherita in Monterosa, Italy, adding to the many that fell across Italy and France over the weekend. A weather station that was opened way back in 1899. So that's a long 120 years worth of data there. And to break records that old, well, you know, global warming and such. Now, the mercury plunged to -21.2C during the morning of September 17th, which busted both the coldest ever temperature for the day, which was much warmer, and that was set back in 2013 recently, and the date for the earliest sub -20 in history by a full week, no less. So that's the facts, Jax. Now, Mexico earthquake, another 5.8 this morning. Quake jolted the Michoacan area as an aftershock, and a pretty sturdy one as the death toll rises. Now, Monday's powerful quake occurred on the anniversary, if you didn't know, of two previous disasters on the same day that killed thousands of people. One in 1985, another in 2017, and now this one, 2022. That is not a coincidence, but one of Mexico's top universities attributes the three earthquakes on the same day to coincidence. The National Autonomous University of Mexico, one of the top universities in the country, announced that there was no scientific explanation for the three earthquakes taking place on the same date. The university said it was just a coincidence, according to Reuters. So there you have it, the official word. It's just a coincidence. Seismic update, biggest quake of the day is a 6.0 in Kamchatka there. Another interesting quake, which is now gone off the map, was a 4 magnitude in Arizona. I guess that happened yesterday, so that's gone. But no other quakes of note. Good news. We've had plenty of rumbling. In fact, the global seismic activity has been very high, according to this chart. And you can come check out all of the previous years. And so a lot of people are saying that there's been 500 times more earthquakes this year than any other year ever. You can actually come here and look at the data and just see how dumb you sound. So there we have it. Taupo Volcano, New Zealand. We've been reporting on a number of earthquakes as the earthquake swarm have increased. 1, 2, 3, or 4 areas here. And we were questioning why they didn't raise the alert level. We questioned that about 10 days ago, and they must have been listening to the show. New Zealand raises the alert level on giant Taupo volcano, and this is because of successive years of minor unrest, which should put it up there in the category of 1. So they went from 0, which is no danger, to 1, which is minor unrest, which is actually what's happening. So good job, scientists over there in New Zealand. And here we can see earthquakes at central Lake Taupo since 1999. And there is definitely an upward trend. Do you see it? Definitely an uptick in the last 4 years. So keep a close eye on that. That is one of the largest volcanic eruptions in the last 5,000 years coming from Taupo. Now, Piton de la Fournaise, volcano in La Réunion. A new eruption happening there with lava fountains and lava flows. Looks very similar to Iceland, now doesn't it? Uh-oh. Space weather news. A little glitch there. Whew. Now, good afternoon. Solar activity during the past 24 hours increased to moderate levels. A single M flare, M1.0, along with numerous minor C flares, were detected around AR3102. Here. And a cluster of sunspots containing the remains of old AR3089, which is now 3105. It continues to turn into view off the southeast limb, and it is growing. So let's take a look at that. And here we can see where it seems to go from a plage to more spots there as it turns into view. So we could see some exciting times coming in the coming days, but just minor flaring activity, nothing. We will be waiting for this coronal hole to reach us on about Thursday, and that could enhance some of the space weather. So stay tuned for more on this sunspot as it develops. Now, some science. Israeli archaeologists uncovered the earliest known use of opium in the ancient world. Yesterday, we talked about psychedelic enemas. Well, now we're talking about the earliest use of probably pain-relieving opium. The opium residue was found in high-quality ceramic base ring juglets that were imported from Cyprus and others used in a burial assemblage discovered in Tel Yahud in a salvage excavation conducted by Israel Antiquity Authorities. The dig director, Erika Jacol, in 2012 to 2017. And then subsequent analysis over the years after the excavation is when they discovered what was in those vessels. So pretty awesome stuff. Some opium vessels. Now, how old were they? They were quite old, and they date all the way back to the 14th century BCE. That would be 3,400 years ago. People were using opium. Now, here's some cool news. 1,000-year-old stalagmites from a cave in India show the monsoon isn't so reliable. Their rings reveal a history of long, deadly droughts. And that proves that, well, it's not your fault. It's the sun. And we can see it dramatically here in the data set from the stalagmite. You can easily pick out the Dalton minimum, the Centennial minimum. Dalton here, Centennial here. This is increased cosmic rays due to low solar activity. And you could see the entire Maunder minimum on this graph. So more cosmic rays, more rain. And after we have a peak of rain, then we have drought. But there was some severe droughts, pretty regular here. It looks like this drought here to this drought here is at a 150-year cycle. These could be like multi-decadal oscillations from ocean currents. But definitely you can see here that there is cyclic climate change, cyclic monsoons, cyclic deluges, and droughts. And they have nothing to do with CO2. Nothing at all. This year, this 35-year-old makes six figures gardening and teaching about plants in San Diego. Now, this is a little disingenuous. He's a YouTuber, and that's where he makes most of his money because he gets millions of views a month. I'm sure you guys, if you're gardeners, have seen Epic Gardening. I think it's a pretty good channel, but it seems like there's a lot of lazy people in the world because he doesn't do anything really special on the channel except show you how to grow stuff. And he's doing it quite comfortably. So if you're looking to change your paradigm and what you're doing, consider YouTubing. As violence erupts in Iran after a woman dies by the morality police. They're arresting women because of what they're wearing and then beating them to death, apparently, according to this article. So, be careful what you wish for. You're in one of the best countries in the world. Chinese scientists say coal power could slash hypersonic flight costs. Well, and the UN and the WEF are pissed. Experimental engines used low-cost mix of carbon particles and ethylene to trigger shocks at 6 times the speed of sound. Researchers expect the technology to achieve at least 20% higher fuel efficiency than modern jet engines. Way to go, China, leading the way. Now, not all multinational corporations are scumbags and are out to kill you. In fact, some are actually potentially helping save the planet, like Orano, the world's leader in recycling used nuclear fuels. Someone sent me this article today, and I took a look at their website, and it's pretty cool. As the world leader in reprocessing and recycling, Orano's expertise provides its customers with efficient, safe, and responsible management of used nuclear fuels. Up until now, we mostly just buried them deep in holes and monitored them there. It's very dangerous and stupid. But by using this technique, Orano can recover 96% of reusable materials, 95% uranium, 1% plutonium, and God knows what the 4% left is. But it's certainly a lot less to throw away in the end. Thank you, Orano. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Thanks for watching, guys. Become a Patreon. Help support the work we do and share this video. Be a hero. We love you.